Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the October 2019 edition of the opening bell ceremony that has been appropriately themed the state of financial literacy in Botswana. My name is Khotla Sehwe, and I'll be leading proceedings of this morning's short agenda. As you may, before we begin the program this morning, kindly allow me the honor of acknowledging the presence of the following: the Chief Executive Officer of the Botswana Stock Exchange, Mr. Thapelo Thaule; distinguished guest panelist, Limpopo University Vice Chancellor, Dr. Kgape Kaboya-Kgosi; University of Botswana Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor, Student Affairs, Professor Happy Siphambe; Botswana International University of Science and Technology Director for Center for Business Management and Entrepreneurship, Professor Patricia Makepe. I'd also like to take this moment to acknowledge our former BSc committee member, Mr. Nelson Leswene. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. I'd also like to acknowledge fellow speakers, BSc Head of Market Development, Ms. Thapelo Moribame. I'd also like to acknowledge fellow speaker, Head of Clearing and Settlement, Ms. Masego Peto. I'd also like to acknowledge the rest of BSc senior management and staff, scholars and students from various institutions. I'd also like to take this opportunity to make a notable mention to Ms. Genaleman from Botswana Accountancy College, who's here with students who are currently studying accounting and finance, as well as international finance and banking. Thank you so much. I'd also like to take this time to acknowledge the UB Finance Society. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Your continued support is welcomed. I'd also like to take this moment to acknowledge the parents, as well as the presence of key stakeholders within the ecosystem of capital markets, the business community here present, members of the media, members of the public. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
At this moment in time, seeming as we're running behind schedule, please allow me to invite to the podium the BSc Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Thapelo Thaule, to deliver the welcome remarks.
Limpopo University Vice Chancellor, Dr. Kgape Kaboya-Kgosi, University of Botswana Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Happy Siphambe, who was my lecturer some many years ago, I think 1997 or so, at University of Botswana. He was a very good lecturer. Very good one, labor economics. Botswana International University of Science and Technology, BIST Director, Center for Business Management and Entrepreneurship, Professor Patricia Makepe. I call it the other way around at times. Former board member of Botswana Stock Exchange, Nelson Leswene, who is also active in financial literacy, BSE staff and management, distinguished guests, students, members of the media, and members of the public. Let me take this opportunity to greet you this morning. Good morning. And I also want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the October 2019 edition of the opening bell ceremony. We have decided to theme this opening bell ceremony mainly as a result of the state of financial literacy in Botswana, and therefore as a start we started to call upon the tertiary education heads to chat with them in terms of how and why and what is impacted to students at that level. And this is just ordinarily a start for us in terms of much more interrogation of the financial literacy situation in the country, because at the BSE we have realized that this is one aspect of the capital markets that also need a lot of attention. This is signaled by a number of educational initiatives that, as the exchange, we deliberately decided to do. Some of them as a way of giving back to the community, but some of them because we have seen an opportunity as a way of income generation. And some of these initiatives, among others, are workshops in terms of fundamentals of investing, the famous Botswana Senior Secondary School Finance and Investment Competition, which was classified the most innovative educational program in Africa in 2018. Our open days, our weekly radio programs that we do every Thursday, the lovely BSE magazine, which I will encourage all of you to read. I think the next edition is coming out today or tomorrow. If you go to the shops, you buy it. If you come here, you are likely to get a free copy. But there is also a copy online, which I will encourage you to use, because you don't print a lot of them. And also we do a number of guests lecturing around the country for free. That is some of the educational initiatives that we decided to do. We partner with various clubs across the tertiary institutions. We have partnered with BAC at some other point in time, the Finance Society of UB at some time. And we are also active on social media. And all this we do because we very much believe that financial literacy is very important. Because for people to invest in the market, or for people to invest anywhere else in the economy, I think it's a very fundamental type of education. But one of the things that we also do during this is the normal market update in terms of how we are generally performing as the BSE. As at September 2019, I think the total turnover for equities was 1.2 billion pula, and this translates into about 6.5 million pula per day. The size of the total market cap was 408 billion pula, made up of 24 domestic companies, 9 foreign companies, and 1 registration. On the debt market, trading was about 87 million pula for government bonds, and corporates was a mere 310,000. Bringing the total market for both government and corporate bonds to about 16.5 billion pula. And this is made up of about 7 government bonds and 39 corporate bonds. That totals 46. We still have 3 ETFs as of the beginning of this year, but we are also looking at a number of initiatives to increase company listings in the BSE. Those of you who read or who frequent the media will realize that last month we had a visit to Zimbabwe to try as much as possible to partner with the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange to bring dual listings to the BSE. And I think that is so far bearing fruit. But I think generally the market is doing well, it's doing fine. There are still pockets of companies that are still on decline in terms of the share prices. But if you are good at stock picking, you'll be able to pick up the best. And of course, some companies that still continue to misbehave, we still take action against them. We have suspended them. But those who understand the role of the BSE will know that, as the exchange, there are things that we can do and there are things that we can't do. Ultimately, the rights of the shareholders, who are the ultimate owners of the companies, prevail. I know there was a certain article last week concerning that BSE did not do enough at Choppies. I can't go and beat RAM. I can't go and present RAM. RAM is not listed. What is listed is the entity, is Choppies. Choppies broke the rules of the stock exchange by not submitting financials. We suspended Choppies. I've got nothing to do with RAM. Whether, even if you can go to South South America and take Escobar, who was seen to be a criminal, and make him a CEO of a listed company in here, the BSE will not change that. We don't employ CEOs, we don't fire CEOs. That is the role of the board of various entities that are listed. And if shareholders go to an AGM, they vote 53% for and 46 against. The 46 have lost, 53 have won. And the BSE can't change the voting of the shareholders. But in any case, I think we'll come in full response to that after this. I think it's warrants that we clarify a lot of myths that people think the BSE have powers in. So we are going to be dealing with those issues after this. I think the most important thing here was to welcome you to the opening bell, and also to concentrate much more on the state of the financial literacy. With all those remarks, Master of Ceremonies and our distinguished Vice Chancellor, Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor and Director, thanks very much for accepting our invitation to tackle this important topic with us. I welcome you back. I welcome you to the BSE, and yes, and back those who are here every month, because these are enjoyable ceremonies, and there are some people who attend every month. Thank you very much.
So at this point in time, let me invite the moderator for the panel discussion, which is the BSE Head of Market Development, Ms. Thapelo Bedimame. She will be conducting this particular discussion on the subject matter, which is the state of financial literacy in Botswana. Please give her a round of applause.
It's a pleasure for me to moderate the session on the state of financial literacy in Botswana. So one thing that I would like to remind you of is that today, as we ring the bell, we'll be ringing the bell for financial literacy, and we are doing so as part of the World Investor Week, which ended on Friday. So it's a very good day for us here at the BSE, because we've long seen universities as a big part of our strategy. So I am delighted to moderate this session. Joining me on the discussion is Dr. Kaboya Khosi, Professor Siphambe, Professor Makepe. So without taking too much time, I'll go straight into the discussion. I'll start with you, Professor Siphambe. Why is financial literacy important?
All protocol observed, because we are running on time. The topic, financial literacy, why it is important, is quite an obvious issue, but not very obvious to those who don't know. Financial literacy is obviously something that is needed to make sure that society that is not knowledgeable on financial matters become knowledgeable and make good financial decisions. We as a nation of Botswana started getting into this business of finance very late. We, for instance, were saving in things like cattle and other hard, living, areas that were not what we talk about now in financial terms. And therefore, we need, as a matter of agency, to make sure that we make financial literacy a very prominent topic. If you look even in terms of literature on growth, financial, growth and development is a very key imperative into spurring growth in any economy. Economies that have very deep financial markets are much more able to grow faster than those that do not. I think I should stop here so that the others can also respond.
Okay, thank you, Professor Siphambe. I'll move straight to Professor Makepe.
Financial literacy is very important, and Prof has already outlined the key reasons why it is important, and I'm sure most of us are also familiar with those reasons. Now, for us at BUST, we have realized that because of this importance of financial literacy, we aim to graduate entrepreneurial graduates. And because we're a science and technology university, we recognize that we don't want to just graduate pure scientists. We want graduates who are going to come up and set up businesses. And therefore, we realize that embedding financial literacy, right, in terms of their personal growth and the growth of their future businesses is very important. So if we want our graduates to fit seamlessly in the world of business. There's no way this can happen without them being aware of financial literacy.
Thank you for that.
Good morning. Thank you very much, moderator. I think from the Limpopo University perspective, we have a philosophy in how to raise young people. Obviously, we got it from the University Founder President, and it's based on 4 principles. The first of which is entrepreneurship. Then, of course, the empowerment of young people. Then we also have what we call techno-savviness or technocentric delivery. Now, in terms of entrepreneurship, I think as BUs, we believe that students must learn all the basics of entrepreneurship so that each and every student must leave our university with the fundamentals of entrepreneurship and financial literacy, financial management awareness is part of that. Now, let me just say that we also believe, therefore, that financial literacy is about sharing the information on how to make the best, most sound financial decisions, whether it's about loans, whether it's about investments, whether it's about managing your debt and so forth. And so each and every one of our students must actually have imbibed in a bit of this. But I think we'll come to the detail a bit later. But as far as the definition goes, yeah, that's what we believe. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kawayakosi. Before you pass the mic on, I know as the BSE we decided earlier on in our strategy that we are not just going to expect participation in the stock market, because we realized quite early on that there was a gap in terms of understanding what financial issues are. So I would like to hear from you, Dr. Kawayakosi, in terms of whether you think we are doing enough to promote financial literacy in Botswana, specifically focusing on the interventions that you have at the university.
Are we doing enough? What is enough? What are we doing to begin with? At Limpopo, what we do, we have several interventions. We got like students, especially in the social sciences, they're obviously going to financial courses, whether accounting, whether financial management and so forth. But non-social science students have several options. We have the Limpopo Entrepreneurial Acceleration Project, which really teaches entrepreneurship. We also then have the Entrepreneurship Club. And as I said, the students in, say, the design faculties, the ICTs also come through, especially in semester 5, to learn on these disciplines or sub-disciplines of financial management. Now, whether all these are enough, including our collaborations with stakeholders from outside, such as the banks, I think no, they're not enough, because when you get, we also have counseling, for instance. If students go into financial difficulty on my campus, there's a way that we offer counseling to them and to reinforce also the messages that they were taught either in class or during guest lectures, which touch on financial literacy. So no, it's not enough. But we also have the sense that it's not just about the decisions made by students, but maybe I'm answering a different question. So let me leave it there. Enough? No, it's not. The system needs to ramp up its own initiatives. I hope you allow me to touch on this one of how we can widen the matter to support financial literacy.
Okay, definitely. Dr. Kawayakosi is saying we are not doing enough. So, Professor Makepe, what is your take on this?
Thank you. Our university, as you may know, was established in 2006. And at the beginning, when it was established, we didn't have this center of entrepreneurship. So this is a fairly new center, and it was established after it was realized that we needed to graduate students who are not just scientists or engineers. Because, you know, we want our students to be problem solvers, to go out there and set up their own businesses and manufacture products that our society is going to consume. So we recognize that you cannot separate the scientist or engineer from the finance side of things. Actually, the entrepreneurship as well as the financial literacy is part of the life cycle. So what we do is we've embedded in our programs about 15%, 15% of the curricula is entrepreneurship, business management, and this of course includes financial literacy. As we impart the knowledge, although we're training for business, we also, inculcate to the students that these skills are also going to be helpful in their personal investment decisions and financial decisions that they'll be making in the future. At the moment, we are still an academic center, which is more of a service center to the science programs, but we have a mandate to develop short courses, and I'm happy to hear that you have these guest lectureships, and definitely we're going to invite you to come over, because our students, we want them to graduate and have startups, spin-offs and things like that. They need to know how to raise money, how to finance these businesses. It's not only about going getting a loan or savings, but there are other innovative options which I think you are also covering as you visit throughout the country. So definitely we're going to take advantage of that. But then going forward, we also want to graduate into a school of business, not in competition with UB or Limpopo, because we see ourselves as collaborative. So for our programs, we're going to be targeting them at science students, because we recognize that these soft skills, including financial literacy, really have to be developed beyond, undergrad level. We really need to focus on coming up with some courses, executive courses that can be accredited and also generate money for the institutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Makepe. I must say that it's very exciting to hear about what the center is doing. So I hope we get to learn more about it later. So, Professor Sikambe, what is your take on this?
Thank you. I think as colleagues have said, I totally agree. We are not doing enough. What are we doing as UB? University of Botswana, or Madikolo as we are called, is the oldest and the most comprehensive university. But when we realized that our curriculum was not enough to impart a lot of knowledge that was needed in different areas, we started semesterizing in the year 2000 to allow for space for issues like financial literacy. And within the curriculum, we have what are called general education courses. And there are two of those that are particularly very relevant for the university curriculum, which is the finance, accounting for non-business, which is finance and accounting. And then there's contemporary economic issues, which is also teaching, non-economics majors about finance and literacy things in the area of finance and economics. So we have chosen clearly as early as 2000 that we'll offer the other non-finance and economics majors to get those choices of courses. But of course, the reason why I'm saying it's not enough, I wish that was compulsory for all students. I think it would go a long way if that was made to be compulsory. But the other efforts are what we do from our student clubs. We have the Finance Society, we've got the Economic Society, we have the Business Clinic. All of those are partnering with BSc, Barclays and other stakeholders that we have developed partnership over time. And we do come and impart some financial literacy issues in collaboration with those entities. And of course, as I said, I think we wish we could do more. But my take of all of these, Madam Moderator, is that I think the importance of financial literacy is so fundamental that I think it should start in primary education. It should be driven right from when a child begins to understand the world around them, as early as at basic level, including, I think, somewhere at standard 3 or standard 4, if that's not too late. So whatever we are doing now is really remedial, which is not really very, it is effective, but it's not optimal. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sikambe. Yes, very, very interesting indeed. And I'm reminded of on Friday when we went to visit our adopted school in Gamwe. Because when we adopted the school, they were at a 47% pass rate, and now they are around 80-something, which is a big improvement. And one of the reasons that have been attributed to that is the fact that the school has been sort of exposed to what the BSc is doing, and it sort of got the students motivated. So I definitely agree with your recommendation there, Professor Sikambe. So before you hand over the mic, let me just stay with you there for a bit. Just please highlight some of the long-term solutions that you think can be implemented to improve financial literacy in Botswana.
Thank you. I think it has to be two-pronged approach. There are those who are already not literate and need to be given that literacy. I think we need to have consciously made programs that, inculcate financial literacy to the population of Botswana, in partnership with universities and other people that have, the knowledge on this area. I remember when we were selling for the first time shares for the BTC, that it became very obvious that Botswana did not understand in detail what really they needed to do. So there is need to educate those that are already there, that don't have the financial literacy. But as I said earlier, the thing starts at the beginning. If we need a financially literate society, we have to start at the beginning of the education cycle, so that by the time you get to university, we're just really, putting on, the different areas of it and making sure that it's reinforced. I think I could just say it in that broad term.
Definitely. Thank you, Professor Skande. Professor Makepe, what is your take on that?
Thank you. I couldn't agree with the professor more. I think it's very important for us as TEIs to really look at our catchment areas and the communities in which we reside. And then for greater impact, we should design these short courses. It doesn't have to be a week, you target the course based on the particular audience that you are targeting. And it can be something that maybe can be done for a day for community members, so that they can also get the opportunity to understand what financial literacy is all about. And as I'm sure we are all aware, this concept of time value of money, time is one resource that you can't get back. Once it's lost, it's gone. So I agree with Prof that this financial literacy should really, start very early, so that once people start earning an allowance or an income, they are already aware of what they need to be doing in terms of their investment and savings decisions and things like that. Not forgetting the risks that are also associated with this sort of thing, because there are scammers out there, and we really need to do a lot to make sure that people are literate, because then it helps them make wise decisions. And just one more to sell ourselves as a university. Our science students are also involved in this area. As you look at financial markets and how they are changing and evolving, increasingly, the science students, computer students, they are the ones that are designing the systems that are driving the digitization of finance. So we need to think about it more broadly, and I'm happy that we'll be able to collaborate in future and invite you over to Palape to come and give a guest lecture.
Thank you, Prof. Makepe. We'll definitely be going to Palape. Doc, what is your view on that?
Actually, I think the first one, catch them young. Don't give it to them when we're already so old, as you know. But the second one is enhanced collaborations. As I was talking about the Lincoln Entrepreneurs Acceleration Project, LEAP, we work through, of course, our faculty, but we also need people in this room to raise their hands and say, we'll come and train you on entrepreneurship, on accounting, on personal financial management. That's the naughty now that I meant, the collaboration. We don't get sufficient outsiders who can come in and actually offer students these hands-on experiences. But the other third one, I think, is in terms of, for instance, you teach students about the need to look after their money. Then when he goes or she goes out to the shop, there isn't sufficient business people out there looking after students' needs. When we were younger, maybe schooling overseas, you'll find that this bookstore, this furniture shop and all that. So it's almost as though the system is loaded against them. I think investors ought to look at the student market as one place where they can participate and also allow these young people to actually truly manage their finances. If we all meet at LRAs and your salary, it's not actually a salary, it's an allowance. I think the system also needs to enhance prudent financial management by availing the choices which can actually support the lessons that we give. But I think all in all, we do have an entrepreneurship club called Kokui, and the LEAP Kokui Entrepreneurship Acceleration Project. I invite everybody in here to come and actually enhance this financial literacy for our young people. They all work for the same economy, and so that they can become better financial managers or personal financial managers in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and that was really wonderful. And a round of applause for the panel. I think a couple of things did come through from this conversation. Firstly, we need to catch them young. We need to educate as much as possible. And one of my favorite words, collaboration. We need to collaborate. We need to be united in our lobbying for an improved curriculum generally from the primary level. So at this point, I'm going to do what has never been done before. I'll invite 1 or 2 questions from the floor. If you have any question, please raise your hand.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, panelists. Good morning, invited guests. My name is Modisa Mapayane. I'm a freelance business developer and writer on financial literacy. I just wanted to ask the panel to please perhaps or have their views or ask their views on the aspect of financial inclusion and how financial inclusion can drive financial literacy or vice versa. The example I'd like to give is that, for instance, I know many people who have bank accounts and I know many people who don't. A large majority of people who have bank accounts never even look at the bank statement, but a large number do when they try to find out what has happened to the money. And you know that, and we're all aware that it's much easier to find out what has happened to the money when you have that bank statement than when you've been carrying the cash in your pocket and in the morning you had 200 pula and in the evening you have nothing. So I just wanted to ask the views of the panelists in terms of, because we know that financial inclusion in this country is not quite what it could be. We looking at what the BSc is doing. What I believe that what the BSc is doing is a large driver towards achieving financial inclusion. So I just wanted to hear the views of the panelists and the professors on terms of financial inclusion and financial literacy.
Thank you. I'll take the second question and then I'll allow the panel to respond.
My name is Lame. I am the president of University of Botswana Finance Society. We are a club which imparts financial literacy. So what we usually incur at UB is the unresponsiveness of students towards these financial matters. You find that just because they're doing science, they believe like financial literacy is only specific to finance students or accounting students. So we try to deliver to the students. But what I'm asking directly to our Professor Happy Sipambi is, what are you going to do as the management to make sure that we as the club or we as clubs in the school are going to deliver our messages well such that they're heard? I mean, it's much important when our parents are playing role in whatever is happening. And most importantly, you'll find that there are stalls, health stalls, but you will never find a time where you find financial literacy informing other things. You know, you'd have people from developed field, but you'll never have people from BSE, BIFM or anything. We only know about saving and all that. But I do ask you to look into that save. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think I'll allow the panel to now respond to the 2 questions.
Thank you, Lami, for that very important question. I think let me start with that one, then go back to the other one. In fact, you are correct. As I said, I think we just coming back into issues of financial literacy very late. And it's beginning to realize that they are as important as the other things that were showcased. I think from here, my promise to you is that I am going to take it up with my executive management. We must be in the forefront in terms of driving the partnership with the BSE and other financial institutions like Bank of Botswana and others that are dealing with finance matters, so that we can be able to showcase not only for yourselves but the whole university community that they should be able to showcase or be able to get information on finance before they leave the institution and graduate. The second question, which was the first one on financial inclusion, Just to agree with you that yes, financial inclusion is a problem in this country, but it's beginning to be developing in a much more progressive manner. Currently, I think from 2017, we have statistics that show that 64% of the rural households did not have access to access to finance. And of course, we have a lot of these other innovations that are driven about by the technology. But whether financial literacy and inclusiveness are driving each other, I think it's a chicken and egg from where I'm standing. I tend to believe that financial inclusion is much more powerful in driving financial literacy than the other way around. So I think we need to be driving that we should have more financial inclusion so that financial literacy can begin to be driven from that aspect. And then I think there's a lot of literature that has shown that link in terms of causality. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. When it comes to us as views, we recognize that the scientists and the engineers, they tend to focus a lot on their core skills. So this is why 50% of our curricula for our students is really geared at inculcating soft skills in these students. So at the center, in addition to financial literacy and entrepreneurship, we also offer other courses. For example, we have Chinese and languages, and where students get to learn Chinese because, as you know, our business people do a lot of business with China, especially the engineers. I guess that's where they source their inputs. But anyway, going back to what we need to be doing, I think for us, because we have the same challenge where students, if you look at class attendance at the finance classes compared to the science core subjects, you find that students tend to go to the core subject more, maybe because they feel it's more difficult. But every time we have to be telling them, Ghana, when you leave this university, these are the courses that are going to make you apply better what you've learned in the other core technical areas. So we recognize this as a soft skill, but I think we need to do more in terms of extracurricular activities. For example, the other two universities have got clubs where students are involved outside the classroom. And these are the kinds of innovative ways in which we can get our students more interested and better able to absorb some of this material in a more relaxed environment away from the classroom. In terms of financial inclusion, I think we need to look at these innovative ways that we can use to bank the unbanked, because sometimes, you know, someone is in a remote area and really getting access to a bank is difficult, the physical infrastructure. So we need to look at innovative ways in which we can reach these people. But we find also that the environment has to be conducive. For example, if we're looking at Bo, Mascom and Bo Orange and some of these telecom providers, you find that electricity is needed in these remote areas. So when we come up with solutions, we should also make sure that they are long-term solutions. And, you know, like Professor said, it's the chicken and the egg. If people are financially literate, they are going to be eager at an early stage to start saving, to start investing, because they'll be having the knowledge. But now, if you have the knowledge and you don't have the means, because, for example, the commercial bank expects you to have a salary and all this sort of thing. So we really need to be innovative and look at where we are and tailor-make our own solutions for our people to get them included.
Thank you, Prof. Makepe. Dr. Gabriel.
Yeah, I think you cannot argue against the desirability of financial inclusion. And so, as I said, every student at Limpopo University has to do an entrepreneurship module, and that carries, you know, financial management and so forth. Technology and also enhancing the regulatory system. I mean, you carry your money through these non-banking channels, but I think we need to have the regulators for telecommunications and to actually talk between each other to ensure risk management, better risk management between all of these people who carry out financial inclusion. But I think it's improving because of the improvements in technology. But the important thing is to impart information and education, catch them young, and keep talking about these things. Papelo, if you let me, our economy is transforming really quickly from our agro-based economy to what it is now. And I think many people to be participating in the stock exchange, and to do that, they need to know what it is, how it can help them, and they need to know about the risks and so forth. So we all actually have a duty to educate everybody. And by doing that, we're also including you, because forewarned is forearmed and information is power. I think I'll leave it there really. All of us need to come on board and do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. At this point, I would like to say thank you to my wonderful panel. So I think the key message is educate, collaborate, and innovate. There's a lot of young people in this room. Please, by the time you leave or when you are out there, ensure that please share information about what transpired today. Share key information on what you've learned so that those who are not here also get the message, right? Because in this day and age, it's very cool to share about what is happening elsewhere other than the important issues that we currently face as a society, right? So please feel free to do that. So thank you to everybody who came today, and thank you to the panel again. Thank you, Director.
So at this point in time, as you do see the screen behind our panelists here, that has signified that the market is open, as you can see in the green there. So we're going to now go on to the official bell ringing. At this point in time, I'd like to ask our distinguished panelists to just please stand up for the official bell ringing. Photographers, will you please come to the front? 3, 2, 1, ring. In closing, I'd like to invite the BSc Head of Clearing and Settlement, Ms. Masego Keto, who will be closing our program and delivering the vote of thanks. Please give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning, our valued participants. Good morning. And our special thanks to our valued guests, our valued experts, Professor Sipambe, Professor Makepe, and Dr. Kosi. We appreciate your coming here. It was an insightful discussion. Thank you so much. From the discussions here, my take is that we still have a long way to go. We still have to play serious catch-up. And we're talking about students, but we have not said anything about our parents out there who are in the periphery, who would very much wish to come and, invest in Botswana Stock Exchange, for example. They have cash stuck under the pillows. They don't have banks, but we're saying we are looking forward to this coming industrial revolution, fourth industrial revolution. But we still have people out there who are not yet up to the standard that we wish they could be in. It's unfortunate. They said we haven't done enough, or we are not doing enough, and I agree with them. I concur. Really, I don't know how we're going to do it. I wish this discussion was aired somewhere, maybe in a bigger platform, maybe aired on TV, but aired on radio, such that our people out there could also participate and see how we can help them going forward. BSEL, as we always say, we continue to be in touch with our communities by taking the exchange to the people through our road shows. And we have road shows all over Botswana. I'm hoping next year our marketing department will come. And that means now that traversing the periphery, they are in the outskirts of our country. And it's a sport, because Hamusupa is close proximity to Gaborone, and we can only hope that people out there understand the stock exchange, or understand when we talk about financial literacy. So we are happy that we have this discussion, and maybe Mama Dribame, let's look into maybe having this discussion in a bigger platform, so that we get people out there to contribute, and we hear their views and see how we can really reach out to them and help them move. Because like I said, we have to play serious catch-up. People have left us, or countries have left us, we are still trailing behind. Thank you, our panelists. We have tapped on your knowledge, your ideas and expertise, and we will put those to good use. I wish this discussion, as I said, could be continued even in future. The buzzwords that I heard from them was educate and catch them young. Our critical mass. Educate and catch them young. My hope is that as and when we catch them young, they'll be able to pass through that information. You know, information is fluid. They'll be able to teach our parents out there, and you know, they'll be able to understand this issue of financial literacy. And I'm happy that Relaton is here. He'll be on national radio and you know hitting these concepts hard so that Baba Reds and Radio Botswana and TV could understand what you're talking about. Professor Sipali was talking about BTC. It's so unfortunate that we get calls from our parents, but labo bari hutile tla halaka ke reka 1000 ngwaga ha halaka tla be ke tsotse 2000, and we don't know what to say to them because that wasn't financial literacy, it was marketing. They were telling them that if you buy 100 kilo of BTCL, ngwaga ha we hela o tla bona only 200 kana, you know, they're going to double or triple. So when there is this movement, their price going up, going down, you know, they really don't understand. How Malawi do you share 1,000 that? Why this a hole? Why this a hole? It is because they don't understand. Why this a hole? So little not those and get 2016, there's still 1,000. Why? What do we tell them? It's very difficult because we will be talking over the phone and we are not able to tell them that, you know, this is because this, that, because we're talking quantities, we're not talking money. But yes, we need our organizations, we need our universities, not only to concentrate on the critical mass, but also talk to our old people out there. You know, there was a time when we did our dematerialization. As you may know, that we no longer have certificates in the market. There was one gentleman that had Stanchart, and they came, and then they put forth the certificate. And I told him, you know, this certificate that you have is worth over $1 million. I don't know certificate this. What do you mean? Show me. And then he sold like 300,000 of those, and he was a millionaire. He sold just part of it. But I'm thinking, for those who haven't come through to dematerialize, but to the certificate, because of the lack of knowledge. And they'll just tear it up. And that's investment gone. What are we doing to educate our parents? What are we doing to educate our people? We have to grow our market, we have to deepen our market. I'm happy that we had this discussion, but anyhow, thank you for taking your time from your busy schedules to come and share this morning with us. The positive relations that we have with ourselves, you know, as our stakeholders, are key to growing the Botswana market. And this is a two-way street. We can do it, but if we don't have the audience there, or if you're not there, you know, it will not go anywhere. We will not be able to grow our market. But thank you so much. Thank you, our panelists, for coming. Thank you, CEO. Thank you, everybody, and I wish you a very good morning. Thank you.
As the Stock Exchange, we do continue to drive the promotion of financial literacy in Botswana. But as the panelists did allude to, we cannot do it alone. We need to try and foster synergies with stakeholders to try and promote financial literacy, more importantly, at a grassroots level. So first and foremost, let me thank once again the panelists. Let me thank, of course, the moderator for facilitating that insightful discussion. And then, of course, let me thank you for being a part of this audience today. You've been wonderful.